What's up, guys? This is Rasim from RaspberryTech.com, and this is video 3 of our Raspberry Pi 3 cluster supercomputer video series. Now, if you guys have gotten this far, pat yourself on the back. We're almost done. In our last video, we worked on Pi 1. In this video, we're pretty much going to finish the cluster. And in video 4, we're going to program the clusters and run some programs on the cluster and benchmark it and do all that stuff. But in this video, the cluster should pretty much be done. Now again, pat yourself on the back if you guys have gotten this far. Now before I get started with this video, I want to talk about a project that I really want to work on, and it's a really ambitious project. To even get this project started, I need your guys' support. The way you can support me is by liking this video and like all the videos in this series, and I'll know you guys are interested, and I'll buy all the parts and everything necessary to get the project started. Again, support me by liking this video, like all the videos in this series, and I'll buy all the parts. It's not going to be cheap to get like 100 or 200 pies. It's going to be thousands and thousands of dollars. But I will be willing to spend the money if you guys like this video and like all the videos in this cluster. Let's get started. Now again, in the last video we worked on Pi 1. What we're going to do is instead of doing what we did in the video 2 for all the other pies, we're just going to copy the image file onto our desktop and copy it to all the other pies, and it'll save us a lot of time and we could move on forward. To do that, make sure you disconnect that SD card from video 2, the one you worked on in video 2, disconnect it from your Raspberry Pi and connect it to the computer. Open up Win32 Disk Imager. Then you're going to make sure that right driver ladder is selected. You're going to click on this folder, right? You're going to select the directory you want it saved in. I want it saved in the desktop. You're going to give the file a name. I'll call it RASPI, or sorry, Raspberry Pi 3 cluster supercomputer. Then you're going to hit open. Then we're going to click on read. Once you click on read, it's basically going to copy that file and save it onto the desktop. The reason we're doing this is to save time. All we have to do is copy this image, burn this image to the SD cards of our other pies, and we can move forward. We don't have to repeat video 2s for all our pies. We're pretty much going to be moving forward from there. Alright guys, so once that's finished saving the copy of that image file to your desktop, it's going to look something like this. The way you burn it to the other SD cards is the same way we burn Raspbian. It's pretty simple. Just open up Win32 Disk Imager, and you're going to do this for all the Pi's SD cards. Remember, there's a total of 4. We already finished 1. Now we're working on the other 3. All you have to do is make sure your SD cards is connected. The SD card you want to copy this image to, you have a total of 4. Remember, first one we just finished. Now we're going to copy this image to the other 3. So connect the other SD card to your computer. Click on this folder icon, navigate to the directory of your image. Mine is on the desktop. Click on this drop down box. Make sure you select this dot here so it shows all files and folders. Highlight or click on the file, your image file. Click on open. Then you're going to click on write. I'm not going to do this because I already did it, but you're going to do this for all the other SD cards of your Raspberry Pis. Once you finish doing that, make sure you connect all the SD cards to their pies. You connect the power to the pies. The pies are connected to a switch. That switch is connected to a router, the same router that's connected to your PC. Once that's finished, we can move on to the next step. Alright guys, so everything has to be completely connected. All your Raspberry Pis have all the SD cards. All the SD cards have this image burnt onto them. You have the power connected to them. You have the Raspberry Pi is connected to the switch. The switch is connected to a router. That router is connected to the same PC. Alright guys, so now we're going to open up the browser and we can navigate to this URL here. This is my webpage. I created this page for this specific tutorial. It's www.raspberry-pi-3-cluster-supercomputer. Link will be in the description. And we're going to be using this page to finish this cluster. So navigate to this page. We're going to minimize the page. We're going to open up PuTTY, and we're going to type in the IP address of our Raspberry Pi. We know it's, well, I know mine. You know yours. Type in yours. Mine is 192.168.1.173, right? Hit enter. Pi is the username. Raspberry is the password. Alright, now we're logged in, so let's just minimize this here, put that there, open up the web browser, minimize the page, and we're going to put it on the other side. Alright, so now what we got to do is we got to figure out what the IP address of our Raspberry Pis are, the other ones actually. We'll first copy this code, copy it, paste it here. Alright, now that that's finished, we're going to copy this code here, copy it, paste it. Alright, now we're going to copy this here, and we're going to paste it. This line of code is going to allow us to install Nmap. Nmap is a program that will allow us to find the IP address of all our Pis. So before we hit enter, you have to delete this capital S and change it to a lowercase s. By the time you guys watch this video, you might not need to, because I will already updated the website. But if you see that there is a capital S there, just change it to a lowercase s and hit enter, and it should be done in a few seconds. Type in Y, hit enter. Alright, so that's done. Now we can start using Nmap. If you guys want to figure out what the IP address of your current Pi is, you could always copy this code ifconfig and hit enter, and it'll give you the IP address of your Raspberry Pi. As you can see, it's right here, 192.168.1.173. Alright, so now we want to find out our IP address for all our other Pis. We're going to copy this code to do that. Copy it and paste it, hit enter. Alright guys, so this is the IP address of all our other Raspberry Pis. It'll show you the name here, Raspberry Pi Foundation, and the IP address is under it. One of them is here, 192.168.1.66. The other one is here, 192.168.1.74. Then we got 192.168.1.175, and the final one is 192.168.1.74. Yours is going to be different. Copy yours down. What I'm going to do with my cluster, I'm going to keep this Pi as Pi 1, 192.168.1.1. Pi 2 is going to be 192.168.1.173. Pi 3 is going to be 192.168.1.174, and Pi 4 is going to be 192.168.1.175. I have a little bit of OCD. I want them to be in number order, so Pi 1, this will be Pi 1, this will be Pi 2, this will be Pi 3, and this will be Pi 4. Now to do that, I'm going to have to close PuTTY again. I'm going to open up PuTTY. I'm going to log into my Pi 1, which is 192.168.1.1. I'm sorry, that 166. Yours is going to be different. Whatever you chose for your Pi 1, make sure you click on open. Login is Pi, password is Raspberry. Enter. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to change the host name of the other Raspberry Pi. So this is Pi 1, the .166 is Pi 1 for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to SSH into Pi 2. To do that, type in SSH space PI at, and the IP address of your Pi 2, mine is 192.168.1.73. Hit enter. Alright guys, to SSH into your Pi 2, just type in SSH, hit space, Pi at, and the Pi's IP address. Oops. Pi at, and the Pi's IP address. Mine is 192.168.1.173. Yours is going to be completely different. Hit enter. Type in yes. Hit enter. Password is Raspberry, RASPBERRY. Hit enter. Alright, so now to change the IP address, to change the host name, we have to type in sudo raspi, RASPI hyphen config, CONFIG, hit enter. Now we're going to scroll down to advanced options, and we're going to scroll down to host name, hit enter, hit OK again. Now we're going to change it from Pi 1 to Pi 2, and hit enter. Hit tab a few times till finish here is selected, then hit enter again, hit enter, yes, it's going to reboot. It rebooted us and kicked us off of Pi 2. Now we're back to Pi 1, as you see right here. Now we're going to SSH into Pi 3. To do that, type in SSH space Pi at, and the IP address of your Pi 3, mine is 192.168.1.174. Hit enter, type in yes, hit enter. Password is Raspberry. Answer. Now we got to type in sudo, hit space, then raspi hyphen config, hit enter. Scroll down to advanced options, scroll down to hostname. Okay, hit enter. Change the 1 to a 3. Now we name this pi03. Hit OK. Hit tab a few times till finish is selected. Hit enter. Hit enter again. Now we kick this out of pi3, we're back to pi1. Now we gotta SSH into pi4. To do that, again, type in SSH, hit space, pi at the IP address of the pi4. Mine says 192.168.1.175. Hit enter. Type in yes. Hit enter. Password is Raspberry. Hit enter. Now again, sudo space pi at, I'm sorry, sudo raspi -config. Hit enter. Scroll down to advanced options. Hit enter. Scroll down to host names. Hit enter. Enter. Change the 1 to a 4. Tab a few times till finish is selected. Hit enter. Yes, it kicked us out of 4. Now we're back to 1, and we successfully named all our pies. And you got to jot down the name of your Pi with its correct IP address, so we can move forward. Now the next step is to edit this file. This is called machine file. The way we edit the file is copying this code here, pasting it, and we're gonna hit enter. Now we gotta type in the IP address of all our Pi, starting with pi1. Mine is 192.168.1.166 is my pi1. Hit enter. Now we're going to type in pi2's IP address. Mine is 192.168.1.173. Hit enter. Type in the third one. Mine is 192.168.1.174. Hit enter and type in the fourth one. This is pi4's IP address, so mine is 192.168.1.175. Make sure it's correct, no errors. Then we're going to save it. To save it, hold Control, type in 6x, type y, enter, and we saved the file. Alright guys, so now we're going to test a few codes. We're going to test this first code here. When you paste it and you hit enter, if it gives you your pi1's IP address, then we're good. Now we're going to copy the second line of code. We're going to test that machine file to see if it works. We're going to copy it, we're going to paste it, and we're going to hit enter again. Now it should have gave us pi01 through pi04, but it only gave us pi01. It says permission denied, but we can fix that. The way we fix that, and I'll show you in a second, you have to close PuTTY right now. Click OK. Open up PuTTY again. Type in the IP address of your Raspberry Pi 01. Mine says 192.168.1.166. Hit enter. Pi is the username. Raspberry is the password. Now we're logged in. Now we're going to copy this line of code here. We're going to create a keygen. Copy it, paste it, hit enter. And it's going to generate a key. And you're going to keep hitting enter until you see something like this. So now we're going to copy this line of code here. It's going to change our directory. Hit enter. We're going to copy this line of code. We're going to go into this directory here. Hit enter. Now we're going to copy this line of code. And we're just copying a file into pi1. Hit enter. Now we're going to SSH into pi2. To SSH into pi2, all you have to do is copy this code here, paste it, replace the IP address with your pi2's IP address. My pi2 is 192.168.1.173. Then you're going to hit enter. The password is Raspberry. Hit enter. Now we got to copy this line of code here. Copy it, paste it, hit enter, and hit enter a couple of times until you see this. Alright, now we're going to copy this line of code here, cd into .ssh, hit enter, copy this code here. We're copying this ID into this folder here, paste, hit enter. Now we're going to copy this code here, and we're copying a file into this folder here from pi01. Now all you have to do is change this IP address here, delete this one, and give it your pi1's IP address. So delete the one, and my pi1's IP address is 192.168.1. dot 166. So I'm gonna add 166 to it, hit enter. And it's very important you guys add this dot. It might look like it was an error, but if you don't add that space and dot, this won't work. So if you see here when you copy, make sure you copy that space and dot. Now type in yes. So type in yes, hit enter. Password is Raspberry. Hit enter. Now we gotta copy this line of code here. Copy it, paste it here, hit enter. And we're gonna type in exit, hit enter. Now we successfully got kicked out of Pi 2, now we're in Pi 1. Now we're going to SSH into Pi number 3, copy this line of code here, paste it, change the IP address to your Pi 3's IP address. Mine says 192.168.1.174, so I'm gonna type in 174, I'm gonna hit enter. Password is Raspberry, hit enter. Then we're going to copy this line of code here, paste it, hit enter. Copy this line of code here. I'm sorry, we got to hit enter a few times. Go back to the terminal, hit enter a few times until you see this here. Now we're going to copy this line of code, cd into .ssh, paste, hit enter. Copy this line of code here, paste, enter. Copy this line of code here, right? Hit paste, enter, change the IP address to your Pi 1's IP address. Mine says .166, yours is different. Hit enter. Again, you have to add that space dot. If you don't add the space dot, it won't work. Type in yes, hit enter. Password is Raspberry. Hit enter. Now we're going to copy this line of code here, paste it here, hit enter. Now type in exit, hit enter. Now we're going to do this for Pi 4, so SSH into Pi 4, you could copy the code here. Copy, paste, change the IP address to your Pi 4's IP address, mine is .75. Hit enter. Password is Raspberry. Hit enter. Copy this line of code here. Copy it, paste it, hit enter. Copy this line of code here. Copy it and I'm sorry, before we copy that line of code, we're going to hit enter a few times because it's generating the key. So once you see this, now we can copy this line of code, paste it, hit enter. Now we're going to copy this line of code, paste it, hit enter. Now we're going to copy this line of code here, copy it, paste it, change the IP address to Pi 1's IP address. So I'm going to delete .1, I'm going to add .66, hit enter. Type in yes, hit enter. The password is Raspberry. Hit enter. Now we're going to copy this line of code here. Paste, hit enter. And we're going to exit. So type in EXIT and we got to exit from the SSH. Now we're back to Pi 1. Now we got to copy this line of code. Again, always add that dot, the space dot. If you see a space dot, make sure you add it. So copy this here, paste it, and we gotta change this IP address to Pi 2's IP address. So delete this .2, right? And type in your Pi 2's IP address. Mine is .73. So I'm just gonna type in 73, hit enter. Copy this line of code here. Paste, hit enter. Now we're gonna copy this line of code here. Again, add that dot. Copy, paste, enter. I'm sorry, we gotta change the IP address first. To the Pi 3's IP address. My Pi 3 is 192.168.1.74, so I'm just going to type 174, hit enter. Now we're going to copy this line of code, paste, hit enter. Now we're going to copy this line of code here, paste it, change this IP address to Pi 4's IP address. Mine is .75, hit enter. Now we're going to copy this code here, paste it, hit enter, and we're pretty much done with configuring the cluster. Now you guys should pat yourself on the back. We're going to run a couple more codes and the video is pretty much almost over. So now we're going to copy this line of code here, paste, hit enter, and we're going to copy this code. If we copy this code and paste it and it gives us the names of all 4 of our Raspberry Pis, you successfully did this. Everything worked fine, and we can move on to video 4. So hit enter. Bam, Pi 1, 2, 4, and 3. Now you guys, if you see this, pat yourself on the back. You did a lot of work. Your Raspberry Pi cluster is pretty much finished. So again, pat yourself on the back. Now we can move on to video 4. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys like this video, please give me a like. If you want more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. I'm Rasim from RosmerTech.com, and thank you for watching.